I already hit the button. Okay, yeah, we're live.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
This is the environmental concerns and real property tax services meeting, call to order. Approval, can I have somebody make a motion, approve the minutes from last meeting, which was in January, first by Mr. Bean, second by Strainer.
I'll take the second. Mike had his hand up too. I don't want to hog all these motions.
Supervisor Strainer, that's who I saw. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Privilege of the floor, public comment.
Thanks, Nancy. I know you've got a full agenda, so I'm going to cut back on what I wanted to say and I'll give you my talk. So maybe you could email it to the committee members.
Certainly.
I'm Diane Collins, and along with my CAT, Climate Action partner, Lisa Adams, we appreciate your attention. We are the co-founders of North Country Earth Action, an informed citizen climate advocacy group. We would like to collaborate with you, the Warren County Environmental Committee, to bring about climate mitigation actions. An example of a very successful collaboration was our Citizen Zero Waste Warren County group working with the Public Works Committee. It took a couple of years, but we now have plans to fund a needed composting facility and to change the whole marketing system of recyclables, so that all the towns will earn revenue rather than paying to have them hauled away. So that took time, but we got there, so that's pretty exciting. And we would like, our group, North Country Earth Action, would like to work with this committee in the same way. Perhaps down the road, forming a smaller committee to address perspectives and options that you're interested in terms of climate mitigation and how towns can work together. The worsening climate is recognized to upstate New York. And we know that the current administration has stepped away from addressing our worsening climate and the desperately needed mitigation programs. But New York has not. It's important for me to affirm that New York State has not stepped away. Bills are being considered now, and one of them is the New York Heat Act, and it would benefit the North Country. And I have some ways that would happen in this paper that you'll get in the email to all the committee members. And the other that New York State is doing, it offers programs to help municipalities take climate action. And you'll hear about one of these, the Climate Smart Community Program, from several speakers that will be following me down the road. And I wanted to say that looking at our committee member list, we note that the supervisors representing Queensbury and Glens Falls on this committee are from municipalities already with climate smart community committees and that have done noteworthy accomplishments. Back in 2018, Glens Falls was awarded through the Climate Smart Community Committee $43,000 for a grant to complete a greenhouse gas inventory and develop a comprehensive climate action plan. And the Queensbury CSC has earned an impressive $200,000 over the past several years from the hard and persistent work of their committees with public input and participation, money used by Queensbury for climate response. In closing, I'd like to suggest a next step for working with you guys. We would like Supervisor Geraci from Horicon and Supervisor Bean from Johnsburg to consider being on a climate action working group to prioritize areas of interest and perhaps look into their towns forming a CSC. Town hall meetings might be set up to explore citizens' concerns about climate warming, cost worries about heating their homes, and interest in being part of a climate smart community committee. There are grants out there. New York State has money to support us. Let's go get it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are no action items at this meeting today, but we do have Jib Libram from Soil and Water Conservation District that would like to tell us all about what he's doing.
We get you in.
All right, normally you don't need, I don't need a microphone, but I'll stand here, then that way I'm not wandering around. Okay, so, yeah, Amanda has that. We're gonna hopefully use the clicker. And, thank you for having me here today. I try to come to the Environmental Concerns Committee or Board of Supervisors meeting every few years, to kind of review and refresh and show you what we've been working on, our office. And, I would just like to point out, Frank Thomas is one of my board members there, and he and I have excellent taste in clothing today. So, thank goodness we look handsome in purple. So, I think a lot of you know who the Soil and Water Conservation District is. At least you have an idea of what we do. And I'm not going to go through everything because actually our annual report will be emailed out next week. There we go. It's just delayed. There you go. So just some background. So the legality of soil and water districts. Yes, we do exist. In the New York State established what was called the New York State Soil and Water Conservation Committee. That's under the Department of Ag and Markets in New York State. And then from there are 58 soil and water districts in New York State, each one, the county boundaries. The 5 boroughs make up one soil and water district. So New York City has a district. Warren County, you established our district in 1956. And you think back, and I've always been curious, like, what do we predate in the county? I mean, it's curious. You run into those things, like how long was, codes been in and things like that. I'm just curious as to where we fit. But it's made up of a 7-member board of directors, and Supervisor Thomas and Supervisor Dan Bruno are the representatives from the Board of Supervisors. Now, you all approve of the other members. They're at-large members, and one of them is a farming interest. The others are at-large, and we generally try to have a good representation across the county. The supervisor reps are appointed on an annual basis, and everybody else is a 3-year basis. So you always have that opportunity to fill spots if necessary, and not everybody leaves at the same time. It's hard to read there. You're not going to be able to read it, but that's the bottom part comes right out of district law. Now, if you hear Soil and Water Conservation District, first of all, people generally might think we're the DEC, and we're not. I'm not a state employee. Jake is not a state employee. Well, how do we work? You're a county employee. No, I'm not a county employee. I'm a district employee. How do you wrap your mind around that? School district. Warrensburg, you're a teacher. You're a teacher in Warrensburg for that district. I'm a municipal employee. I just happen to be Soil and Water Conservation District. So we're government, and I joke around. Frank hears this all the time. We are here to help. Okay? But we work with everybody at the county. We'll get into a list of groups that we participate with, but we also were created to work with landowners. And this is a result of the Dust Bowl in the 30s. And we were enacted by not the federal government. I am not USDA. I did not get an email the other day saying, what did I accomplish? However, we provide our board members every month a list of accomplishments anyway. But we are local soil and water agency, and we can go out to municipalities. We can go out to landowner site visits, and there's a lot of flexibility with that. And many of you know who are town supervisors know that you've interacted or had people sent our way, and we interact with those landowners. One of the interesting things that I like to point out is instead of just flooding and agriculture and stormwater, to protect public lands and the tax base, promote the health, safety, and general welfare of the people of the state, utilize resources to enhance the quality of life, promoting additional tourism and employment opportunities. We are a very strange group by state statute, but it allows us to do a lot of things. Now, what we do in Warren County is going to be different than what they do in Jefferson County and what they do in Wyoming County. Because every soil and water district is independent and it's run by the board of directors, and basically the efforts of the 7-page plan of work that I think we put together, the staff does it with the assistance of the board of directors from our office. So we can deal with a lot of different things. I've told the story before. One of the most interesting things we ever dealt with was a dead rattlesnake in Glens Falls. You know, Dan Hall called and said, hey, hey, Jimmy. Yes, sir. I usually ask Chief Schrammel for this, but he's on vacation. This is right up your alley. There's a dead rattlesnake. Well, the gentleman who used to work for me, retired last year, used to work with Bill Brown, who was the snake expert from RPI. And we called Bill, and Bill said, you got it. You're covered under me. The Bob went down, and those of you know who Tom Gerard is. Tom had it in a 5-gallon bucket because his wife wouldn't let it in the garage, and it was dead. And Bob preserved it in an appropriate manner. Bill took it and was able to do a full analysis of it. Those are the things that make Jake's day go by quick, my day, and we have a lot of these things. But we have our routine type of programs, and a lot of these programs and efforts wouldn't be accomplished without this group of people. And I didn't count how many. You know, we're talking local agencies from the LGA Land Conservancy, Lake Champlain Regional Planning Board, all the municipalities, the county agencies. I'm looking, you know, Larry and John, you know, they know I constantly ask questions because you should, are we doing the right thing? Are we acting appropriately? Are we staying within there? So we really appreciate working with the county on these items. The educational facilities, we just came from a meeting with SUNY Adirondack for their environmental group, one of the environmental teachers, Holly Ahern, because we're doing a lake sampling program with Loon Lake and with Friends Lake and Glen Lake and Lake Sunnyside and Luzerne. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, Gene's gone, so I'm not going to get yelled at. So, you know, we're working with SUNY Adirondack on that. But we also are we're doing a lot of engagement, and we're working with Pack Forest because that's operated by SUNY ESF. So we really try to work with anybody who is willing to, with common goals and to an end. We don't like to go and do things that isn't going to go anywhere. So I just put that up there to show, you know, who are the groups and agencies we work with. This does not include landowners. So Warren County is split into 2 main watersheds. The kind of the green mustard yellow is the Upper Hudson watershed, and the blue is the Lake Champlain watershed. And it's split between 75% of the county and 25% of the county. But interestingly, in the Lake George watershed, that's about 75% of our county population. So it's almost the exact opposite. So what our office does is when we look to get funds and we write our own grant applications and we have partnerships with watershed organizations, we look to bring funds in where we can. And if we can save $1 by getting a grant into the Lake George, Lake Halfway Brook watershed, which is Champlain, then that frees up $1 of our revenue from someplace else. And we can go to Oregon, we can go to Johnsburg, we can go to the Upper Hudson, which does not have as much support by the state for funding. So we're just looking to offset and move that around. So we're very flexible with that. We're good at writing our grants. You know, I'm not going to purport to be an expert on it, but we're usually pretty successful because we look what the questions are and look to end up with a result. So, but just wanted some background for you on that, you know, if you're in the blue, the water's draining up to the St. Lawrence River. If you're in the green, it's flowing down to the Hudson, down to New York City. We have an agricultural environmental management program called the AIM program. 2 of the staff primarily go out and do technical assistance work. People might laugh, well, how much agriculture do you have? You're not like Washington County. No, we're not. So we craft it towards items such as I saw Diane back September, October, community garden. We have a community garden program. Why is that? To provide the ability for local landowners who don't have the ability to raise vegetables or have access to other foods. They can do it at a community garden. And this is one of the Glens Falls community gardens. So we can assist with through state reimbursement for soil, and the technical assistance And those beds that you see there, they look like old wash tubs, but those are actually modern beds. And part of the reason that they're so big is, what do we have? And I'm getting there. We're having an aging population. It's harder to bend down. It's harder to do that. So we improve that ability for people to enjoy gardening, and they can grow their own foods, and they don't have to always go someplace for it. But we have huge economy with Christmas trees and maple sugaring. Thanks, Jake. And those are some of the more larger farms that we work with, and we're engaging with them and ensuring that they're maximizing their ability to produce, and also talking about problems. What is a problem at a Christmas tree farm? What's the number one problem at a Christmas tree farm? Anybody? Deer. If they love to eat, especially the furs, and there's a lot of damage. And just like in any industry, that's a loss. So you're losing that. So we'll work with them, and then we actually were able to receive funding for that little structure you see there. That's in Lake Luzerne. That's a agricultural mixing facility, because they do chemical applications on some of the trees. But what it does is it allows them to keep everything under cover, under control, reduces the chances of any kind of spill, and it keeps their equipment protected. And that's through state funding. We've worked on, I can't tell you, countless culverts and bridges through the years with municipalities, generally with the towns. New Hague Road and Wood Wells Road in Chester, just an example. This is what some of the culverts look like. They're on the top. The bottom is what they were replaced with. And it's not just that we're getting money for that. I can't tell you how many sandbags that I've personally moved, or water pumps, or shovel full of soil I've moved, or we've even run, before you had to be have a certification, you even run excavators. We are kind of a jack of all trades when it comes to this stuff. But yeah, we were at the Climate Action Committee meeting yesterday. Go to meetings, look to collaborate, look to see where we can help out on. Erosion and sediment control, the lower left image that looks like just a road, that's a stabilized woods road in the Glens Falls watershed now, that is not eroding and causing issues for the Glens Falls Sewer and Water Department. We get funding at times for things like that. I'm your hazard mitigation coordinator for the county, working with Anne Marie Mason, and supervisors know it's a slog to get through that plan. The plan with all of the details right now is 2,000 pages long. Nobody's going to read that. The first 1,000 pages are actually more relevant, but nobody's still going to read that. But we have meetings. We're setting up a training, hopefully in June, and all the communities can come to it to check a widget, identify what's being done, and what they want to do, because our aging infrastructure, we want to be able to have people to go from A to B without any problem. I live in the town of Thurman. It took a while for the County Route 2 to get repaired. It was a big project. I went out to 7 different landowners because of the tornado, providing technical assistance. We didn't have money for that to provide to them, but now there's potentially some federal funding for some of them. So hopefully that'll work out for them. We have a lot of stormwater work we do through the MS4 program. Nick Rao was just here earlier announcing the availability of review, working with the county, town of Queensbury, village of Lake George, town of Lake George, city of Glens Falls on different levels. So we do sampling, we do the mapping, we do inspections, we do the reporting. Landowner and community forest. We're doing a lot of forestry work now. Over 8%, and I'm going to credit Sarah. A few years ago, I asked her to develop this. 8% of our forest lands changed hands during COVID. So there's a lot of people out there. I don't know what to do with my forest. I don't know what I can do with my forest, what I'm legally allowed to do, or what I want to do. So I go over to Mr. Bean's property and we can talk, and what ultimately was your goal? I'm not there going to be able to fix every problem, but here's what we can point you in the right direction, and we can continue with assistance. Forestry is an important aspect of the county. Warren County is the 3rd most forested county in New York State. 80% of our land is forested. Community conservation, some of your communities know this. We offer up, Jake was in charge of it, now Teresa is, up to $1,000 grant for, let's say, a Rotary Club or a library or something along those lines to put in a pollinator garden, to do a seed library. Crandall Public Library did that this year. Richards Library did that this year. We put into the budget $10,000 for these, so 10 $1,000 grants, because we can't get everything done. And small funds to organizations go a long way because there's a lot of volunteer time there. So we did nine grants for that last year, and I think it was $8,400 or somewhere around there. And other, you can have this, you can keep this, Amanda. It's kind of small, but there isn't much that we don't work on when it comes to the conservation or the environment. I will point out that we just did our state reports. We have to do 4 reports that go, actually 6 reports that go to the state on February 15th. And we calculate our time down to the half-hour increments. And 20 to 25% of our staff technical time went to these, to assistance. So whether it's going to the city of Glens Falls and assisting there, going up to Hork and assisting landowners. So 3,300 hours of our time went to that. And that's outside of grants. So we might still be doing that. But we like to be out in the field. We like to be engaged. I like to be out in the field. I'm not out in the field nearly as much as I used to be. And that's just the function of who I am and what I do. But fortunately, we have Jake, Teresa, Nick, Marn, Rhonda is our office manager. It's a great crew to work with. And I'm going to tell you, if you know me, I mean, even if you don't know me, you can think of me what you want, but you have a wonderful staff. I have a wonderful staff. I put them up against anybody in the state, along with the board of directors. And I think we accomplish a lot for basically 4.5 technical staff out in the county. And why do I do this? Well, I like where I live. I enjoy it. We need to have our resources protected for economic development. We need to have people coming up for tourism, and clean water is conservation. But I'll be honest with you, this is the main reason why I do it. Because of him. That's my son. He just turned 8 the other day, and he started fishing last year, and that's on the Schroon River. So I don't want him to leave. I tell him he's going to leave, but I don't want him to leave. I want him to explore opportunities, but I always want him to know that he can come home to Warren County and Thurman. Sorry, Kevin. We are in the Warrensburg zip code though. So anyway, so there's my contact info. You have probably my information. If you've never been to our office, please come up, give me a call, stop by. Happy to go through everything. Take any questions. If not, thank you for your time.
Any questions? Any discussion?
I was just gonna point out to Jim, there's that fishing thing coming up. I can't find it here. Spring Zing. So you take that young lad to the Spring Zing and they'll even bait his hook.
Oh, yeah, we've been to that, and the Warren County Conservation Council does a fishing derby at the end of April up in North Creek at the ski bowl pond.
Oh,
So we hit that.
that might keep him in the area.
Yes, I'm hoping it does. He's rough and tumble. I just told Jake and Sarah, he's a little less rough and tumble today because he's in a sling from wrestling practice last night. So he's gonna slow down a little bit this weekend, but we're gonna go out and boil maple sap tomorrow. So,
Oh, and the Thurman Maple Days are coming too.
well.
We've got all kinds of stuff going on in
Everybody
this
Thurman
county.
boils maple sap, so,
You do?
oh, yeah, so. Stop up.
Well, you're much better than that last guy we had doing this.
Who's that? Nick Ralph?
Oh, I'm just,
Dave Wick.
I'm just
All right.
busting on Wick.
This is an interesting discussion, but we've run out of time, but we still are going to hear from Matthew Smith, who's the Climate Smart Task Force.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here. My name is Matthew Smith. I'm a junior planner with the planning department here at the county and also the Climate Smart Coordinator. I have an update. I was asked by Chairwoman Turner to provide an update on behalf of the Climate Smart Task Force. So I've put together a document here. On the front is just some background information about the task force and the Climate Smart Communities program, how that works. Program allows the county to get preference when applying for certain grants through New York State. It's based on the certification level. Right now, the county is a bronze certified Climate Smart community. And August of 2024. Uh, a new climate smart coordinator and task force were officially reappointed. And since then, we have met twice. We met Wednesday of this week, which I will get to in a moment. So some of the items of the update, as I just mentioned, the recertification, the certification for bronze for the county runs out in September of this year. I've already submitted the recertification for that. We're looking to hear back March 10th about that. So we will keep an eye out, and I will let them know if I hear anything. Second thing is working with DPW, specifically Scott Royal in the recyclables working group. He was awarded just under $100,000 through the Climate Smart Communities program to construct and operate the pilot municipal composting facility. It was great to work with them. Really happy that we put together a successful application through that. Excited to see that project progress, and I hope it's successful. Third thing is, again, with Scott Royal and DPW, we submitted the municipal waste recycling and reduction. That was for $20,000 for data collection enhancement to produce an interactive web platform, and for outreach and education program study, as well as integration with Warren County outreach initiatives. The latest that I have on this is that the event status for that grant changed yesterday to award pending. I'm not sure what that means quite yet, but we're going to keep tracking that and look out for any announcements for that. The next thing is working with Paul Smith's AWI. I was contacted by Sunita Halash, who is the director of a new program called ACORN, which stands for the Adirondack Climate Outreach and Resilience Network. She contacted me asking to set up a climate listening session in the Upper Hudson watershed. So it was great to work with her as well as the regional planning board to set up a successful event that took place at the Chester Town Hall. It was well attended. There were about 25 people there. Just some of the affiliations that were there was the State Office of Climate Change, the Regional Planning Board, Capital District Regional Planning Commission, North Country Rural Development, County Soil and Water, County Public Health, County Emergency Services, County Planning, Screw Lake Association, Adirondack Food System Network, multiple members of the county task force, local advocates, and some interested citizens. So the latest I have on that is Sunita emailed me yesterday and says that she hopes to have the summary of that event ready for next week. So when that is available, I will send that out to the task force email list, and I'll also post it on the Climate Smart Task Force webpage. Next thing is the Capital District Regional Planning Commission leading the development of the first ever climate action plan for the Capital Region. March 2024, they created a priority climate action plan that's been completed, and now they are developing a comprehensive climate action plan, which they hope to complete in September of this year. I was contacted by the Director of Sustainability from CDRPC, Todd Fabozzi, to give a presentation to the task force about their progress so far and the work that they've done. The task force meeting this week, we set up a date, and the date for that will be March 5th at 10 a.m. That's a Zoom meeting. Anybody that would like to attend, just please reach out to me and I can send you the link for that. The task force meeting that was held Wednesday was great and was well attended. I want to thank Madam Chairwoman Turner for attending that event. We had a lot of different organizations there, including 5 county departments, Town of Bolton, Town and Village of Lake George, the City of Glens Falls, County Soil and Water, the Regional Planning Board, AGFTC, the Adirondack Glens Falls Transportation Council, and Capital District Regional Planning Commission, as well as, again, some local advocates and interested citizens. So it was a great group of people and a great discussion as well. The next meeting I had set for April 30th, Jim had informed me that that's the day of Envirothon. So I'm going to be looking at alternative dates. And when I have that, I will send that out to the group as well as post that on the county task force website. So lastly, the timing of our meeting couldn't have been better as the governor's office announced $80 million in Clean Water, Clean Air, and Green Jobs Environmental Bond Act funds. There's 3 opportunities within that. So we're going to be tracking those and see if there are any opportunities to submit an application for the county in any of those. So that is all I have for the update. I want to thank the committee for the time, and thank you, Madam Chairwoman, for having me. Appreciate it.
Sure. You're welcome. Any questions for Matt? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll open up the floor again to anybody from the public. Supervisors? Nothing? Okay, then, could I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Supervisor Bean, second Supervisor Strainer, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Oh.